Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are as you're watching this. I finally got the whole techie thing down. If I'm not echoing, it's a total win. And if I am echoing, just let me know. We're going to start at 2 after the hour again. Just give people a chance. And I hope everybody has had just as lovely of a day, if not better, than the day I had. I love when I get to work with clients. So much fun, which is exactly why I'm here with you guys again tonight. So just put something in the chat when you're here joining me. Like I said, we'll get going about 2 minutes past. Tonight, we are talking about the power of letting go. Good stuff, good stuff. George just fluffed out. You can see the blanket over there that I have to help with the echo. You know what, my Andrea, my podcast coach actually taught that, is that she actually has one of the top podcasts in the world. It's called The Anti-Fragile Entrepreneur. She's in like the, I don't know, really, really high up in the podcast scale. And everybody thinks that she has a super high-tech setup, and she actually goes into her walk-in closet surrounded by clothes. And so she recommended, if you didn't have a closet big enough to go into, which I do not, to put blankets all over this place. So I feel comfortable around you guys that I don't feel like I need to cover up the blankies, especially if it's going to be not making me sound like I'm in an empty room. So that's the one problem about living in hardwoods. They're much easier to clean up, but a little bit more of an echo. Hi, Lisa. So glad you're joining us again. All right, we are 2 past the hour. Okay. So let's do a quick little recap again. Let me go ahead and just back these up really quick. So I'm playing with something because I want to do presenter mode when we do the masterclass tomorrow night. I'm so excited for the masterclass. Let me see if I can figure this out. Okay. What was that? Oh, come here. There we go. All right. Let's see if I can figure this out. Going into my, all right. Ooh, I think I figured it out. Although you guys can see everything in the background. Can you guys see everything in the background too? Or are you only seeing the slides? Let me go ahead and move you over to the side so I can see. Let's see, where did it go? Here we go. You should just be able to see. Hi, Shelby. Hi, Susan. Hi, Lorraine. Just the slides, everything. Okay. All right. What is it showing now? You should just be able to see the road to unstoppable from the first slide. Or is it showing everything else? Clearly, I have some practicing to do on the tech, but I've got some time tomorrow that I can do it. What else is in the background besides the slides? Oh, it's just the bigger. So they have a presenter view where you have the audience, and then like you can have your other view where you just have notes and everything. So it should just be showing you this. At any rate, it's more important for tomorrow. Okay, good, good, good. Yay. Okay, yay. Awesome. It's working. Cool. Okay. So quick recap on what we already covered so far. So the importance of calming the nervous system, ways that you know your nervous system is overactive, all of those things there, plus allergies, which I had forgotten to mention. And then what is under the covers? The biggest thing there is slowing the healing process, creating chronic inflammation. These things are going to go against pain. Let me go ahead and just make this a little bit bigger here. Affecting the hardware. The longer that your nervous system is in fight or flight, the deeper it goes. That is why, even though I'm not in pain anymore, I'm still working on my hardware underneath and fixing things from the mitochondria level before it turns into something really unenjoyable. The link between emotions and pain. And then I forgot a big one in there. I actually linked in the book last night. So there's another book. It's more trauma focused about how that stays in the body. And it is The Body Keeps the Score. So that is another really good book that kind of backs up what we were talking about. But I think you guys just last night from Louise Hay, and I did link her book. It's actually only $9 to get it as a paperback. But I did link this in the chat last night. So if you didn't see that, go back into the video. It is pinned. I also have it out on my YouTube channel, although I don't know that I don't think the comments go through on YouTube. But if you go back into the video last night, you can see the link to go grab this. I love this book. Super, super helpful. The NLP paradigm, pain paradigm, that's another thing. They're focusing on how they feel, doing a very sophisticated, more high-level NLP technique, and there's a lot of things that start to really permanently change the body and get these emotions out of the body. EFT is another example of that correlation between emotions and pain, and I'd shared that I actually met the medical examiner who worked the Sandy Hook case back in I can't even imagine what she had to see. And she did EFT until it was just like watching it on TV. I use cognitive movement, as you know, to get that out. So I worked with an officer today who had a horrific incident last week, random double homicide, not something that normally happens up here. And I used this to stay completely neutral and was able to have an amazing session with him today. So it is possible to be able to get these things out of your body and experience relief. Cool. All right. Hello, everybody. Okay, just checking the chat real quick. Okay, so now the freedom of letting go and full transparency per my norm. This was one of the hardest things for me, especially letting go of the story. So when I was facing neurosurgery in 2020, I started to convince myself that if I rocked that surgery, and mind you, I've never rocked a surgery in my entire life. My body gets extra traumatized by the surgery. I have a harder time healing on the other side. I actually had a conversation with someone else who's experienced a lot of trauma today, and she said it's the same thing for her, is that, she actually kind of likes when they start to dope you up to go into surgery because she doesn't care. She gets to let go, but she has also had a hard time getting her body to heal. So I wonder if it's harder for people who have had a trauma to go through surgery. Just a theory. I have no idea how I would even prove it, but it's interesting that she's had the same thing. But anyway, my last surgery was my knee replacement that left me disabled. So that's about as far from rocking out of surgery as you can get. But I figure, and mind you, a knee replacement has a 90 to 95 percentile chance of success. The surgery I had before that, hysterectomy for severe and prolific, in quotes, endometriosis, has a 99 percentile success rate. I sprung a leak and had internal bleeding and went septic. So again, my body does not rock out surgeries. If I ever have to have one again, I could probably map that in. But I was looking at neurosurgery, it's got 50-50 chance. And doctors don't even understand. They're starting to understand that when the surgery isn't successful, it's because there's something else that's stuck in the spinal column. Spinal column, by the way, also stores trauma, as we've seen. So going back to the previous slide, something in here with the emotions keeps back surgeries from being successful. And so here I am trying to convince myself that I am going to be a better coach by rocking the surgery and showing people what's possible. And I really, really attached to that story, which was part of why I freaked out when Bill McKenna broke through my back pain for the first time. That gave me the opportunity before I went to that 3-day event where I permanently changed my pain to really explore what was part of it. So part of it was thinking I was going to have a stronger story if I went through a surgery with a 50-50 outcome. So glad that didn't happen because I have no idea what would have come. I was also feeling like more of a badass because I was still in corporate and I won a $1 million deal right before I went on disability. And I won that deal off of 3 calls. That was the most successful deal that I'd had in my entire corporate life. Fastest turnover, and went out of disability after that. So it's like, oh, I can keep up with my peers who were mostly male, by the way. So I already felt like I had something to prove. And I have all this pain. So it was making me feel like I was more accomplished because I was able to navigate the corporate world with the high pain levels. I had to let go of that. It's giving me an out in social situations. So as we talked about before, we start withdrawing, we start feeling more isolated, we start to feel like we may be a burden to people. I was also using it to get out of plans that I didn't really want to go to. So even if it really wasn't true, I could plead my health, my back, and it gave me a way out. These were all things I had to let go of the pain. So one of the questions that I want to ask you tonight is, who can you be when your pain levels are low? And open that up for all the amazingness, all the perfection that is you, all the wholeness that is you today, right now. What else can be possible for you when you are able to permanently change your pain? I just want you to be thinking about that as we do this. The other part of the story is exactly what also happened to us that led to pain. You know, with that, it was a lot of the trauma. Like when I finally understood what had happened to me as a kid, I got really wrapped up in that story for years. Now it's like something I watched on TV. And I have no idea how much of it's healed. I would say 95%, but there's layers. So there could be more that keeps coming back. I had a lot of addictions to let go of. Anyone else here struggle with social media addiction, sugar addiction, games, anything else? You don't have to omit any substances that you may be using on a regular basis. But who here uses comfort food? I still do, full transparency, not nearly as often. And I usually have a salad before I allow the comfort food, but comfort food's still going. Anyone else do that? Or am I the only one that goes to comfort food when I'm hurting? The games distract me. That's something that I've had to let go of too. Every once in a while, I'll let myself zone out for 20, 30 minutes on a game. I did for a little bit last night, and then I'm just like, why am I even doing this? These are all things to start to let go of. And when you do, you start to be free. So one of the things, and this is part of what I'm going to teach my upcoming program, one of the things when your nervous system calms down is it gives you the ability to just be without doing, without striving. You just get to be, which means you're able to sit in silence without feeling like you're going out of your mind. I'm not the only one. Yeah. Thank you, Susan, for joining me. Yes, Lisa, thank you. Andrea, thank you. I'm glad you guys are with me on the comfort food. So who here has a problem just being? Just sitting in silence without your phone, without anything, maybe a journal. That's it. No books, no music, no TV, just being still. Does anyone here struggle doing that? Yeah. Yeah. Yep, that's that nervous system because it doesn't feel safe in a calm state. We have to teach it that it's safe to be in that state. The first time that I experienced that was after an ayahuasca ceremony, the first time I did one. And this was also where I finally faced this trauma that has continued to unravel in the years since this first ceremony. The ceremony was in 2019, so it was 4 years ago. And the first day after the ceremony, I was miserable. Being silent was like, it felt like torture. It was probably the single-handedly longest day of my entire life. And then the day after that was easy. After the second ceremony, before the third one, I was just looking around at this beautiful setting. It was in southern Florida. They had banana trees, or no, they were plantain trees. They had all sorts of citrus trees. They had orchids growing out of their bigger trees down there. It was absolutely breathtaking. Nature everywhere. One of the most beautiful settings I had been in. And I remember going for a walk several times, just looking around with a smile at my face, feeling completely calm. And that was the first time in my life that is ever able to just be. And now I make an effort the first 10 minutes. Well, I have to feed my cats or there is no peace. I feed my cats. I drink a big thing of water to start my day hydrating. And then for the first 10 minutes, the first thing I do is I just be every single day. And it makes a huge difference. Part of what you get when you start letting go is the ability to just be, which is one of the best things that you can do for your nervous system. This is part of what I'm going to teach you to be able to do to calm down that nervous system, to be able to let go. Let me see. Lisa, my sister tells me all the time, I cannot even drive the car without calling someone and chatting. Yeah, that's because your nervous system is telling you have to go, go, go all the time. Same thing. I've made an effort sometimes when I really feel my nervous system revved up. I won't listen to any music. I won't listen to any podcasts. I will drive the car in complete silence and just breathe. And at first, for the first few minutes, it can be really uncomfortable. By the time I get to where I'm going, I am so much more relaxed. Just forcing myself to be in the silence and breathing, because it just slows down my brain. And then my other thing that I am going to share this with you, because it's just one little trick. So one of the ways to start to calm down the mind when you're really trying to just focus and be present, ask yourself, what's my next thought? And then wait for the answer. What's my next thought? Try it now. See what happens to your brain. Notice what was going on a minute ago, and then what's your next thought? If your brain starts to kick up again, what's your next thought? Give that a shot. Let me know what's happening. Susan, hang on. I will get to that in a minute. Let me go ahead and stop the share here. Switch back so that I can look at these comments a little bit more easily. Okay, so ayahuasca is a sacred plant medicine. It is not tripping on hallucinogenics. Not actually, I think it's classified by Big Pharma as hallucinogenic. It is a psychedelic. It makes you go inwards. There's no addictive qualities to it whatsoever. You go in, not out, and it is incredibly healing. I'm actually reading a book right now called Anonymous Awakenings of Ayahuasca that someone I know actually put together. And it's amazing, all the different healing stories. Like there's been people who have had stage 4 cancer who have gone and done a 3-day ayahuasca ceremony and left without cancer. Psychedelics are not for everybody though. There's a lot of people who may have had addiction in the past who have made a commitment to themselves that they are never going to alter their mind again, that they are not going to be open to doing that kind of ceremony. Ayahuasca, it is Ayahuasca. Whoops, I'm totally tagging trying to just write a comment without tagging someone. There, that's how you spell ayahuasca. So it's, if you Google people's experiences, you're going to see all kinds of crazy stuff, all kinds of scary stuff. You're going to hear about how it can kill you, Depending on how it's brewed, it's not necessarily safe for everybody. It has to be properly vetted. You want to make sure that you've got a really good coach there through the experience, because you are going to be witnessing things. It's never going to give you more than you can handle. But without proper coaching, it's hard to tell what are the messages from ayahuasca and what is your ego or your subconscious mind trying to tell you things that aren't true. So that's really important too. Also knowing how and where the medicine is made. It is so critical. Both of my kitties are over there. It is so critical that the medicine is brewed with love, that it is pure, that it is also brewed with the plants that have never had a fatal side effect. So we actually take in DMT. So that's what ayahuasca is. It's an adjunct that allows you to absorb DMT. We actually eat DMT all the time, but there's something in our gut that kills it. So we aren't tripping balls all the time from doing DMT. And you're not actually tripping balls when you're in ceremony either. It's a deep meditative state. It's very, very healing, very relaxing. And again, the healing benefits are huge. So Cogno movement is still what I use the most for my healing, but I do actually participate in plant ceremony as well on a somewhat regular basis. DMT is dimethyl, they call it the spirit molecule. So when we're born and when we die, our brain actually gives a burst of DMT. Let me actually look that up. I can't remember what it stands for. But when done in a religious ceremony, it can be very healing. It is actually a part of us, and it's made in the pineal gland, which I think is at the back of the head. What's interesting, this pineal gland is 1 degree cooler than the rest of our body. So there's a bunch of really fascinating stuff. They actually have a book out there called DMT, the Spirit Molecule, and it talks about the history of psychedelics and how until the Carter and Nixon administrations actually started to decide that drugs are bad, all drugs are bad, and started to scare us with all these stories about LSD, psilocybin, DMT, all of these, we actually had solid research pointing to the healing effects from these medicines, and then they all got shut down. Susan, we can take that up offline. I will let you know who I recommend to do that. They don't do any advertising at all. Oh, your son knows the book, the Anonymous Awakenings in Ayahuasca. They used it. Yes, yes, it is amazing for that. I actually know someone who overcame his meth addiction with ayahuasca. It's incredible. And here's the thing. When you're doing ayahuasca, you are going into the keys within yourself that are holding the keys to your healing. So it's a similar way, like I have a completely different way of doing it, but both of these are making you go inward, where all of the answers are already sitting, where every single answer you need is already inside. But because of fear programming, because of trauma, because of different events in your life, because of things that have made you doubt yourself, because of things that have made you give your power away, because you didn't know how much power you had, because no one teaches you have power, because that doesn't feed into big pharma. That doesn't feed into a lot of the industries out there. You relying on yourself does not feed into this capitalistic economy that we're in. So you're not taught that. Myself and other people in the wellness space, that is where you are going to find the keys to your healing. They are all in here. And maybe not even in here. Your heart is what is going to hold the most healing in there. So, I mean, that's another, even getting into psychedelics, that's another example of letting go. You really let the hell go when you're in ceremony. You aren't in charge at all, at all. I'm actually having another podcast episode talking about what happened during my last ceremony. That was actually what I did when I was gone at the beginning of June, is I actually did 5 ceremonies that week, 4 ayahuasca and 1 psilocybin. Psilocybin are magic mushrooms. The 2 are actually only 1 molecule apart. And yeah, Andrea, we can have that conversation offline as well. Yeah, Lisa. So has anybody heard of Gabor Mate? So he wrote In the Realm of Hungry Ghosts, and he's written some other things, and he's done a ton of work with addicts. He worked on, oh gosh, I'm blanking, really tough part of Canada. I think it was in Vancouver, the east side or something. Candace Platter, who actually has something called Love with Boundaries. So she is completely sober. She is a great example of someone, she's never going to do psychedelics because she committed to herself to never alter her mind again. And she's been clean for over 30 years. So she actually used to work alongside Gabor Mate, Upper East Side. No, I'm screwing up the area. But Gabor Mate has actually done a lot of research around ayahuasca as well. Okay, Gabor Mate, he is, let me put it in the chat. It is Gabormate. So Gabor Mate, you can look him up. He has some amazing works out there, and he has started to work more with psychedelics as well. Yeah, you're not aware of this, but your son said he has some psychedelics stock, so he's very interested in this stuff. Yeah, they're actually starting to decriminalize it. So Denver made a massive move a couple of years ago where they decriminalized psilocybin or magic mushrooms, and that's starting to have more ripple effect. They just wrapped up a psychedelic science fair in Denver actually last weekend. So yeah, there is a ton of movement going to this. It is quasi-legal, not 100% legal. Right now, as long as people aren't advertising, they aren't abusing it, the DEA is just kind of letting it happen. And they aren't, because it's not like it's going on the street. It's not like it's getting laced and it's hurting people and killing people. People are feeling better and are less likely to be criminals after they've done ayahuasca. Again, provided they're properly vetted, they have solid coaching, and they are going to a trusted place. So yeah, let's see what else we have in here. Anybody who is interested in getting connected over to the person I know who does psychedelics, please reach out to me one-to-one. Yes, hopefully it is going to be like marijuana and starts to get legal in more and more states as well. So decriminalizing it, that just means if you get stuck with it, you get caught with it, they aren't going to do anything. Legal actually means, you get a green pass. I'm honestly really not sure what the deal is, other than they don't have psilocybin shops popped up all over the place for the legalities of it, like they do with, my dad calls them pot shops. There's like 6 of them between me and my parents. We are 20 minutes apart and there are 6 weed shops in between the 2 of us. I kid you not. Maine likes their weed. I haven't actually done that for, July 10th is going to be 2 months since I've done cannabis. I'm off of everything that I was using for pain or for sleep, except for melatonin and ashwagandha. I'm still taking those to help simmer down because I used cannabis for so long that I'm still learning how to sleep. Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah. The pot shops are doing very well. I heard a story actually that a very smart Girl Scout troop decided to set up in front of a pot shop in Colorado to sell Girl Scout cookies, and they did really, really well. I believe they sold out of every box. I mean, talk about knowing your market, right? Set up cookies outside of a pot shop, people are going to buy them. So yeah, I'm getting a little off topic though, but actually yes and no, because I'm kind of letting go of the topic. But being serious again, being able to let go of what is bringing you down, and having that moment of truth with yourself of what is the story giving you? There was someone that Liz Larson, she's one of my mentors. Some of you guys may know her if you came in through the Cognitive Movement group, but she was mentioning someone she had come across who used to introduce herself with part of her trauma as her identity. And the woman realized that the reason she did that was because she was afraid that she wouldn't be interesting if she didn't have that problem. And so that was how she led. And that was a big part of her identity. It's because she was afraid that no one's going to like her, that no one's going to be interesting unless she did that. And I had a friend in my past. It was one of the people that I had to distance myself from when if anyone joined the Getting Over the Hump this morning. I was talking about, once you get those people out of your lives, you heal from that. The relationships with the people you do get to keep are so much more beautiful, so much more connected, so much deeper than they were when all that chatter was around there. But this was someone I really cared about deeply. And I started to heal at a higher rate. And in hindsight, I probably pushed my agenda on her without realizing I was. But within 1 to 2 conversations, you knew the trauma that she had endured. And it was a doozy. I mean, she watched someone close to her take their own life. I can't even imagine what that was like. And she was not ready to let go of it. And I'm sure there's many reasons, because people have their reasons. I love that Bill McKenna says that all the time. People have their reasons for holding on. I'm not judging her. I didn't go through what she did. I don't know what it's like to watch someone firsthand do that, especially someone close to me and with all the other circumstances around it. But that story is keeping her in pain. It's keeping her in trauma. And I'm going to always wonder what else she could have when she's able to release that story and let it go. Part of what I let go of, the story, the surgery, all of that helped me be free. So have any of you guys started to think about who else you can be when you have low pain or no pain? Has anyone started to think about that? I know we kind of went off on a tangent talking about psychedelic plants there, but going back to the question I asked earlier, has anyone given thought to what else would be possible and who else they can be? What else you can be when your pain is low? You have no idea. That could be fun, Susan. Anybody else give it any thought? Let's give a minute, see if anybody else has one in the chat. And then I'm going to give you one takeaway for tonight. First, I wanted to be little Andrea. Aw. What does that mean, little Andrea? You can be anything. Yes, you can be anything. I love that, Lorraine. 100%. You can be anything. Yes, please. And thank you. Yeah. Makes anything possible, makes life much more enjoyable. Now you want to be Wonder Woman again. Hell yeah, man. You can totally be Wonder Woman. She is my idol. One of my idols, by the way. You have no idea what your trauma is. That's okay. That's okay. You will find it when your mind is ready to face it. That is the one thing I know. Your subconscious is never going to give you something you aren't ready to face. So when you're ready to face it, it will become clear. That's how it is for everybody. The subconscious is here to protect you and keep you safe. It's also what's revving up your nervous system, but it's not going to allow you to be unsafe. It's not going to give you any information that you can't handle. I still don't remember a lot of the details about what happened to me. I remember enough, but I don't remember all of them. I might at some point when I can handle understanding more details, but evidently I'm not at that point yet. And so I don't fully remember. I remember enough to be able to heal. So anybody else start to think about what you can be when you're able to have lower or no pain, preferably no pain. I can't guarantee that, but I can guarantee I can change your pain, and not in the bad direction either. And I want to leave you guys with one takeaway before we wrap for tonight. You want to act like a child again, do cartwheels, jump on the trampoline, go back to the roller coaster, swim in the ocean without fear. Hell, do anything without fear. Yes, yes, Lisa, I want to play with you. I want to do cartwheels with you. I want to jump on the trampoline. I want to go back on roller coasters. I want to swim in the ocean. I already swim in the ocean, but I'm still a little scared of sharks. Yes, I love that. I love the way you roll. Awesome. Okay. Going to leave you with guys with this for the night. When you're thinking about the things to let go of, addictions, distractions, your story, your past, pain itself. Limits, the other one, limits from your doctor, from yourself. Notice how many times there may be a can't. Oh, there's George. See, he's a giant ass cat. He's 18.5 pounds. Come here, buddy. Your fans are looking here. Come here. Hi. Oh, Squish, you gonna come over and say hi too? Yeah. Can you go? Yeah, Squish just came over. You can't quite see her though. Yeah, you can't say hi to one cat without the other. Little jealousy factor there. And then when the dog's here, it's even worse. My dog sat on George last week on Father's Day. It was kind of funny. When you look at that list again, or think about that list again, I don't actually want to go back in the slides. What's one thing that you think you're willing to let go of? Whether it's your story, your past, the limits, either from the doctors or when you're telling yourself you can't, distractions, addictions. What are you ready to let go of? And just give it some thought. You may not have an answer yet. You may be like, I'm not ready to let go of anything, and that's okay. Just give it some thought and see what comes up as you're pondering it. So tomorrow night, I'm so excited. We're going to do the masterclass. So I'm going to try to fit it into an hour. We may go an hour and a half. I think I actually said it was going to be an hour and a half. We're going to start at 6. It will be back here in the group. And I'm going to be walking you through looking at the 8 keys to freedom. So it's going to be the first time that I am announcing it in a public setting. I am so excited. These are the exact keys that I used and continue to use to stay out of pain. I use them to get out of pain, and I use them to stay out of pain pretty much on a daily basis. And I'm going to give you a hint. Taking that time to just be is one of the keys. So you want to let go of all of it? Yes. Yes, Lisa. Absolutely. Let go of it all. Absolutely. Yes. Love it. I love your attitude. I'm so glad you're ready to do that. So we are going to be going. You are going to let the story go. Yes. Yes, Andrea. Fantastic. I love that. Letting it go. Like Elsa said, let it go. Let it go. And one of the great ways to do that, thinking of people who sing song, Avital Miller's, what is the gift? What is the gift you're getting out of your story? And how can you give yourself that gift without having the story? How can you give yourself that gift as you let it all go? What is going to be the bigger gift when you let it go? And start letting your brain think about that. So tomorrow we're going to be going over the 8 keys. Going to give you my offer. I'll let you know exactly how many spots I have. It's going to start as a one-to-one offer. I will be rolling this into a group program, but I want to make time to really fine tune it and really make it seamless before I'm working with a group all at the same time. It's going to be easier for me to do that with one-to-one clients. I do have spots available for virtual and for in-person, not a ton, but I will be very clear with all of that so you know exactly there. And I do have some bonuses for people who are ready to dive in and sign up. There are going to be some fast action bonuses in there. So I've got a bunch of little goodies in there for all of you. Super excited to share this. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday or your Thursday. For those of you in Australia, have a lovely day. Thank you guys as always for being here. And I look forward to tomorrow night. Take care.